Welcome to the podcast, folks. Today we're diving into the world of GameFi. That spicy intersection of blockchain and gaming that's been turning heads recently.
Absolutely, it's a fascinating blend of crypto and game mechanics, right? What exactly makes GameFi so alluring?
Well, it's basically about transforming gaming from purely fun into a financial ecosystem. Gamers earn real-world value through in-game activities, like battling, completing missions, earning cryptocurrencies, and even NFTs. The idea
That's
is
on
to allow
point.
players to earn tangible rewards.
Yeah, and it's like the gaming industry is being remixed with decentralized finance, isn't it?
Exactly. It's like imagine an arcade where every coin you spend could actually grow into an investment. And we're talking about asset tokenization, turning in game items into unique digital tokens that can be traded.
Absolutely. So, tokenizing items and characters means each item has its own identity on the blockchain, right?
Right, it's kind of like having a digital trading card that's one of a kind. These tokens can then be exchanged on NFT marketplaces or decentralized exchanges. But here's where it gets even more interesting. GameFi isn't just about accumulation, it's about playing to earn.
Playing to earn, so players become micro entrepreneurs within the game's ecosystem?
Precisely. You do tasks, win battles, achieve milestones, and you earn assets, sometimes in the form of crypto
Yeah, that
tokens.
really redefines in game
It's really
achievement.
a new way to view value in gaming.
That sounds revolutionary, but I wonder, does this new model bring any significant challenges?
Oh, it definitely does. The huge hurdles include security vulnerabilities, for instance. The blockchain space, and thus GameFi, is prone to on chain risks like token minting issues or manipulation of NFT metadata.
Right, that's a serious matter. I recall that Axie Infinity incident. Wasn't that a massive breach?
Yep, exactly. Attackers exploited a flaw and stole loads of value, 173,600 ETH and a ton of USD coin, which was worth hundreds of millions at the time. It's a deep reminder that security is paramount.
And not to mention off-chain issues, like vulnerabilities in centralized servers or compromised NFT metadata stored off-chain.
Correct. The challenges span both on chain and off chain realms. And then there's the regulatory environment, which remains pretty murky. Potential regulation changes could classify gaming tokens as securities.
That could really shake things up. Regulatory uncertainty definitely seems like a double-edged sword. It promises innovation, but also potential pitfalls for new investors.
Exactly. And besides security and regulation, market volatility is another major obstacle. Cryptocurrency prices can swing wildly, making GameFi investments very speculative.
Yep, it's like riding a roller coaster without knowing when you'll drop. That unpredictability must be nerve-wracking for investors used to conventional markets, right?
Absolutely. Then there's liquidity, or the lack thereof. Many GameFi tokens, especially those tied to niche games, suffer from low liquidity. This means exiting positions can be tough if the market isn't ready to absorb your trade.
I can see how that could make investors hesitate, yeah?
For sure. And we haven't even touched on the unclear revenue models in some GameFi projects. Some of these projects still struggle to show sustainable paths to income beyond the initial token sales. It's like you're investing in a game without a clear blueprint on how profits will be generated over the long haul.
I get that. It seems like a classic case of rushed innovation, exciting ideas, but sometimes lacking solid underlying business strategies.
Right, and if we add competition to the mix, the picture gets even more complex. There's an influx of projects, and it becomes a challenge to separate promising ventures from potential scams or, short-lived trends.
That competitive pressure might also lead some projects to cut corners on, quality or security, don't you think?
Exactly, and that brings up a point I find interesting. Some critics argue that GameFi projects often offer poor gaming experiences. Graphics, immersion, and game depth in blockchain games tend to lag far
That's
behind
a fair
mainstream
critique.
titles. They're mixing financial incentives with gaming, but if gameplay suffers, player adoption could drop.
And then there's the whole complexity thing. Many users find the fusion of DeFi with gaming pretty daunting, right? Especially non-tech savvy folks.
Yes, it is a steep learning curve. Imagine trying to understand blockchain wallet management along with game mechanics. It can be quite overwhelming.
Yeah, definitely not everyone's cup of tea. So, with all these challenges, security, regulation, market volatility, liquidity, unclear revenue models, stiff competition, poor gaming experience, and user complexity, what's the pathway to success for GameFi?
That's the million-dollar question. Overcoming these obstacles requires a multi-pronged strategy. For instance, technological innovation is key. Projects need to implement stronger security measures, like enhanced smart contract auditing and better on-chain safeguards.
I totally agree. I wonder though, are there any clear examples of projects that are successfully addressing these issues?
Well, some projects are integrating decentralized autonomous organizations, DAOs, into their systems, empowering players to participate in governance. That fosters a more player-centric approach and can potentially improve long-term viability. It's like giving players a seat at the table, which in turn might boost trust.
That's quite promising. Having a say in governance could alleviate some investor concerns, especially with unclear revenue models.
Exactly, and strategic partnerships are another pillar. Collaborations with established brands or even mainstream gaming companies could help boost quality and attract a broader audience.
Right, that kind of cross-pollination could really bridge the gap between traditional gaming and the crypto space. However, I feel there's a point to challenge. Some argue that even with all these improvements, GameFi will always be too volatile because of the inherent crypto element. What's your take on that?
That's a solid critique. While strong fundamentals can mitigate some risks, the underlying crypto volatility remains. It's like even the best engineered car is still subject to road conditions. But the hope is that as regulatory frameworks mature and consumer confidence grows, volatility might become more manageable.
That makes sense. Speaking of regulatory frameworks, do you think the current gray area in regulation might delay broader adoption?
Absolutely, the regulatory uncertainty is a double-edged sword. On one hand, it fuels innovation free from heavy oversight, but on the other hand, it scares off risk-averse investors and gamers alike. Transparency and compliance will be essential if GameFi is to reach a wider audience.
Right, and a more stable, regulated market could make the ecosystem more robust.
So, to wrap it up, while GameFi holds massive transformative potential, its path to mainstream adoption is riddled with challenges, from technological and security hurdles to regulatory and user experience issues.
Exactly, it's a dynamic landscape with high risks and hopefully equally high rewards. It's been a really exciting discussion. The future of GameFi is definitely something to watch. There's still a lot of work to be done, but the promise is there.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining in this exploration of GameFi's hurdles and potential. Until next time, keep questioning and evolving.